Good morning. I'm Mary Dictaan from BSAGC. My report is all about required nutrients for insect. Insects store energy reserved in the form of glycogen and triglycerides in the adipocyte, the main fat blood cells. Lipid metabolism is essential for growth and production and provide energy needed during extended non-feeding periods. That's, that's all metabolic system of insect. Required nutrients for insect. Most insects require qualitatively similar nutritional requirements because their chemical composition and metabolic capabilities are broadly uniform. Variation among insects arise from adaptation to the particular diets or association with microorganisms that provide specific nutrients. The best route of establishing the nutritional requirements of an insect is qualify its performance, survival, growth, reproduction. Unchemically defines artificial diets contain and lacking the nutritional of interest because the composition of chemical defines diets is known and can be manipulated. It is possible to determine whether nutrients is required in the diet and across that range of levels such as one nutrients at a time. Approach those not deal adequately with interaction among nutrients, however, where the level of one nutrients influence the requirements for others. Sustainable chemically defined diets have been developed for many insects. Some species can be relied on meridic semi-defined diets that includes complex constituents such as weight germs, protein, hydrate of plants, and extracts. With carefully experimental design is interpretation, nutritional information can be gleaned from insect on metric diet as is illustrated by first example in this chapter. Insect requirements for some nutrients is evident with a few days and certain within a single generation, with applies particularly the micronutrients such as amino acid, carbohydrates, and some liquids. The dietary requirements for micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals can take two or more generations to be evident because the nutritional requirements of one generation is meant from maternal supplies generated via the egg. Amino acid. Amino acid are required. Some amino acids are involved in the morphogenesis. Most insects derive their amino acid required from dietary protein. The nutritional value of protein depends on its digestibility and amino acid composition. The key nutritional requirements is for the 9 to 10 amino acids that contribute to protein but cannot be synthesized by insects. These are called essential amino acids. That amino acid that insect can synthesize are termed non-essential amino acid. And if the supply is just one essential amino acid is insufficient, the insect cannot grow whatever the total dietary supply is of amino acid. 9 of essential amino acids are common to all animals and are often termed the rat essential because the landmark nutritional studies were conducted with the laboratory rats. Many insect and juvenile rats need the dietary supplies of arginine because these amino acids synthesized via the uterine cycle and lower rates that required for rapid growth. Non-essential amino acids are synthesized primarily in the fat body, although other tissues can also be informed. The molecular skeleton can be derived from glucose and acetate being incorporated into compounds that are intermediates in glycolysis or the tricarboxyl acid cycle. Although insects can synthesize all non-essential amino acids, their sustained growth is generally impaired by cross-dietary imbalance. For example, development of some diphtheria, including Culex mosquitoes, is arrested on diets lacking proline. Aspartic acid or glutamic acid are required for growth for Formia blowflies, and alanine and etherdixine for serines are necessary in addition to essential amino acid for optical growth of the silkworm Bombyx mori. A further concentrate of non-essential amino acid nutrition of insect is that the synthesis and some non-essential amino acid also depends on the viability of precursors. This applies particularly to tyrosine and cytidine. Cytidine is the sulfur amino acid produced in animals, including insects, from the essential sulfur amino acid methionine and transsulfuration pathway. Consequently, cytidine and cytidine are not necessary in the diet if there is ample methionine. Tyrosine is an aromatic amino acid and the key of substrate for cuticle sclerotization as well as the constituent of protein. Insect can be synthesized in aromatic rings and lysine, and many produce tyrosine by hydroxylation of the essential amino acid phenylalanine. They are depend of sufficient dietary supplies and phenylalanine to meet their needs for both phenylalanine and tyrosine. For many insects, however, these compounds are not nutrients and potentially harmful. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, including simple sugar, starch, and others polysaccharides, are important components of diet for most insects. All insects can synthesize glucose sugar by glucogenesis utilizing metabolic intermediates derived from lipids or amino acid breakdown, and some insects can grow readily and on artificial diets contain no carbohydrates. This is true of the larva and the silkworm fly, which feeds on live animal tissues, and carbohydrates can be replaced by wax in the diet of the wax moth. Galleria. Never, Nevertheless, most insects so far examined required from carbohydrates in the diet and perform best of particular dietary proportion and carbohydrates relative to other nutrients that differ according to the species. The grasshopper Menopause plus is unable to utilize polysaccharides and stem-boring larvae. Of the Mount Lilo can only use sucrose, maltose, fructose, and fructose. Pentose sugar do not require digestion since they are monosaccharides, but nevertheless do not generally support growth and may be actively toxic, perhaps because they interfere with the absorption or oxidation of other sugar. They may difference in the ability to larvae and adults to utilize carbohydrates. For instance, the larva and eggs can use starch and glycogen that adult cannot. Ito yung lipids. Fat, fatty lipid for phospholipids and stero are components of cell membranes as well as having other specific function. Insects are able to synthesize many fatty acid and phospholipids, so they can are not usually essential dietary constituent, but some insects do require the dietary source of polys polyunsaturated fatty acid or PUFAs. And all insects require two sterols. Ito yung fatty acid utilized by larva and culex and Pulsaria. The back section emphasizes arrangement of double bands that are important to the two insects. Culex larvae utilize acid with the double bands and different position from those utilized by Glaria larvae. A dietary requirements for PUAFS has been demonstrated in the various Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, and Orthoptera. These insects include the Zootermopsis termite species, general scavengers such as house cricket, Acheta domestica, and cockroach. Periplanta america, and plant sap feeders such as Daffypia alpine, Aceitorosipon pisum, and whitefly Bessia pantica. Insects are unable to synthesize sterols, which are essential components of animal cells, membranes, and precursors for excisteroid hormones. A few insects with specialized feeding habits have unusual and every specific sterol requirements. The autometabolic pathway, but which plants sterols are changed to cholesterol and molting hormones in polymorphous insect. Many determined steps are omitted. Vitamins. Vitamins are organic compounds required to trace amounts to sustain growth. Vitamins are classified as either water-soluble or lipid-soluble. Water-soluble vitamins have far shorter half-life in insect tissues than lipid-soluble vitamins, which tend to accumulate in the lipid store. For example, mammals exhibit well-defined symptoms such as beriberi, vitamins B1 deficiency, ascorbate vitamin C deficiency, while insect generally display. Our understanding of vitamins function in insect is a large extrapolated from vertebrate research. Vitamin C acts as an antioxidant and presumably, and as in vertebrates, promotes the synthesis and and the extracellular maxim insect. The B vitamins function as cofactor in various metabolic pathways, including decarboxylation, vitamin B1, thiamine, flavor protein, vitamin B2, riboflavin, and cytochrome, vitamin B3, niacin, and in ATP production. Acyl group transfer reaction vitamin B5 pantothenate amino acid metabolism. Vitamin B6 biotin and 1 carbon transfer reaction vitamin B9 folic acid. Additional water-soluble vitamins required in very small amount by some insects include globulin, carnitine, cyanocobalamin, also known as a vitamin B12 and leiopioic acid. Among the four lipid-soluble vitamins of mammals, insects have requirements for the vitamins a complex B-carotene and related carotenoids, and vitamin A tocopherols, but apparently not for vitamin D, carniferols, or vitamin K piloquinone. Vitamin A is required as function component of visual pigment. For example, in one classic study, the, the dietary requirements of housefly Musca domestica was revealed only in the 15th generation of vitamin A-free diet, but construct circa rear on the carotene-free diet display reduced growth and delayed development in a single generation. Vitamin A is important for production insect including spermatogenesis in the house cricket, Ancheta domesticus, and egg maturation in this beetle, Scriptolamus montreuseri. Minerals. Various metal ions are required as coenzyme and metalon enzyme. Example include copper in the cytochromes, excites, and phenoladies, iron in catalase, molybdenum in xanthine, dihydrogenases, dihydroxy, magnesium in glucose 6-phosphate, and zinc in alcohol dehydrogenase and metalloproteases. These elements are nearly always present as impurities in artificial diets. Insect additional requires sodium, potassium, phosphate, and chloride for circular ions balance. Importantly, the requirements of most insects for calcium and iron is considerably lower than the vertebrates which utilize these elements in bone and hemoglobin synthesis. Respectively, insects that utilize hemoglobin and respiratory pigments presumably have a proportionately higher iron requirements than those that do not. For this reason, commercial salt mixture, diluent mix designed for vertebrates are not sustainable for men.